We are live. Yeah, don't stand up, Pete. Oh, what is that, man? Is that DVD?
It's a DVD, but it's different episodes, like 6 episodes from almost like a, I don't know, greatest hits kind of a thing.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of those. Yeah,
those are always kind of funny.
It's like a, I don't know, greatest hits kind of a thing.
Yeah, they used to do that. They did that with Friends and a bunch of other things.
Mom's here.
JD's like somewhere within that crowd of Night Court. I looked up and I thought JD was in Night Court for a second there.
I need to move over to the left a little bit.
For a second there, we had a perfect stream. All we had was Eep and Jeff's mom.
Right, there we go.
Hey, Justy Views is here. Welcome to the show, Justy.
I'm trying to be perfectly positioned. Get this guy's like face.
The original cast,
like Pete with his GoGameGo shirt.
Almost there.
I just want to say that this shirt, I don't normally wear sports shirts, but this one's directly in favor of because Stu had a special request. So
that's right. Why? Oh, I won't. There's a lot of things I could say that would be just mean, and I won't do that. Not within the first 10 minutes.
I was going to say, Stu doesn't want to say something mean? Come on. What's wrong with you?
It's got to be New Year's resolution. That'd be nice.
JD used a very strong phrasing when we were doing our chat.
Oh yeah. But come on, it wasn't that far off, was it?
He said you hate every. No, I don't hate it. It's just it's not good. I mean, you know,
a strong dislike.
I go to food. I take it to food. If you put it in a food context, would you eat Rise of Skywalker? Hell no.
If I was,
you would not. You'd look at it and go, dude, I won't eat that, but I bet you will.
You lost a bet to eat it. That's probably
exactly. So I don't hate it. I'm just looking at it going, I ain't touching that.
But again, you might have high expectations going in. That's why I was saying I lower my expectations.
But isn't it just a regular expectation for something to be good that you like?
A reboot? No.
That nobody hasn't turned around and humped in the rear?
Well, it's not really a reboot though.
Well, yeah, it's not a reboot.
I mean, has this ever happened before? Like take the Dan Fielding character where somebody reprises a role 30 years later.
Yeah.
On another continuation show, not just a spot appearance. I don't think that's ever happened. So he's not going to be the same character.
Let me rephrase a derivation of the original. Some sort of oh my god, like how many wardrobe changes?
I feel like Papa Pete is Joey right now, and he's wearing every bit of Chandler's Patriots clothing.
Pete has a trunk like right next to him with just an entire wardrobe, like Gallagher.
It's a tickle trunk.
The tickle trunk is right there.
No, it's impressive, Papa P. It's impressive. I used to be a big basketball fan and go to Clipper games. Laker games were way more expensive. And they had this one guy, and the camera would, the arena camera going, and they called him the Clipper stripper. He would take off these layers, and he had like 20 different throwback jerseys and from the San Diego days. So I'm watching a Papa Pete. Okay, he's at level 2 or 3.
Now, I got to admit, you know what's very strange right now, right? Do you see what I'm wearing?
Oh, it is a Patriot shirt as well.
From when we
I remember that one from 1995 or something like that.
When we beat the Patriots for the Super Bowl.
What position did you play?
I played fan.
Armchair.
You played fan.
Armchair.
I played most awesome fan who watched my team kick the crap out of the Patriots. Just like when I didn't see Rise of Skywalker and I was the greatest Star Wars fan ever and didn't promote it.
Man, I got booted out of here. My whole computer froze up.
Yeah, and you weren't even talking about Rise of Sky. Oh, maybe you should have been.
Wait a minute. That's a different shirt that Pete. That's a third shirt he's had on tonight.
He's
Right,
playing
it is.
share tonight.
Uh,
I think he's got a wardrobe person there tonight. And a hairdresser.
And a makeup person, like right off to the other side.
Yeah.
Powder.
Pete, can you just stop your camera for a second? Yeah.
I liked on the Christmas show when Pete was in a different location and he just reached back blindly like this, and Mama C just came right in the door and handed him a beer, and he just kept going.
Many Olympic relay teams would have been jealous about that handoff. I mean, that was
The
impressive.
timing was amazing.
Practice makes perfect, right?
I could just see him prior to the show. Okay, this is how it's going to work.
That should be an Olympic sport, like a beer handoff.
You watched the show from the other room when I put
Road
my
trip
arm
to
back
St.
like
Louis.
this. You slip a beer in the hand will be off camera, and I'll come back in with it.
Oh man!
So
No,
speaking of
JWD
Pete,
is here.
and his illustriousness, I transferred my snacks to this box because it's kind of cool. So this is what I have left in my X-Men tickle truck. I still have it. Has everybody eaten this thing already?
The Reese's Pizza.
That's
The Reese's Pizza.
it's the deep dish Reese's Pizza.
No,
That's
we haven't-
beautiful. Oh
we
my
haven't
God.
cracked- we haven't cracked that egg yet. That's
All of my Canadian candy is long gone.
It's long gone.
we still have a couple bars left.
Yep.
It's
I've
Toblerone.
got the Reese's Pizza. That's great, JD. That's fantastic.
It's actually genius the way he's hiding that.
And I have I got a few of these left,
I think we have one or two caramels left.
and I've got my favorite. Not only just because it's so damn good, but because it's got a Viking helmet on it.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Wonder Bar, and there's another one. There's two of them are like neck and neck for my favorite.
Crispy
Wonder Bar.
Crunch.
Wait,
No,
it's crunchy.
that's
That's like the Butterfinger, right?
Yeah.
But it's
No.
No, that's the English toffee.
Yeah. It goes great with coffee.
okay.
It's English
Yeah.
toffee. It goes great
No,
with coffee.
yeah, I like that. I love that one.
And I have two more
What was the other one?
Mr.
Ah.
Big Bars.
Yeah,
Mr. Big, that's the other one. That one
Yeah.
and Wonder Bar,
Good.
those are my two favorite.
yeah, those are amazing. They're all really good.
So I just want to let you know I have a little bit left.
Got a little bit left. Did everyone watch the new Night Court?
No.
I did not.
Yes.
2 times.
Oh, is that what
Twice.
this show's about? Let me hold on. I'll be back in an hour.
Pete, I watched it twice as well. Plus, I watched the first 2 episodes just before the show went on of the first Night Court
That's cool.
because I wanted to see how it compared.
You mean the pilot of the original?
Yeah, and the
wow.
first 2 episodes, they had 2 different defense attorneys in the first 2 episodes.
Yep.
Very interesting. I guess the one didn't make the cut on the pilot.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of turnover on that show.
Yeah, it's
Early on, the first like 3 seasons.
right. Pete, you were saying the cast basically stayed after season 3,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It took them a while to, like, everybody thinks Night Court, they think of the end cast, but it took them quite a while to get there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I think it was season 4 is when it started, wasn't it? With the cast we all think of.
That's when Marshall Warfield
think so.
joined.
Yeah.
Although, man, I miss Selma on that original one. She was so
Selma
fun.
Tanya. I was looking at her history. What a long career. She's involved in so many.
She did several episodes of Too Close for Comfort.
Oh, did she? Okay.
They were saying much like her character, she was a chain smoker. So like that wasn't like method acting or anything. I mean, that was just her.
It's out there on NBC is what it's on, isn't it? Yeah, NBC. Yeah.
You can watch
you did not see it, Stu. I thought you were.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, okay. I did see it. I was just kidding.
Oh, you
It's
can
also
watch
on Peacock, so
That's
you
what I
can-
figured it was on Peacock. Yeah.
the original one though.
is on Amazon Prime here in the States.
Huh. Okay. I was just reading an article that said that it wasn't.
Nope,
It was currently available on IMDb for free somehow.
I mean, it's free on Amazon Prime. It's not one of those where you have to pay per episode or anything. It's all free. Yeah, because I rewatched the original series last year, and just tonight I watched the first two, so it's still there.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about that show is one of the guys involved. Well, actually, two people involved from Barney Miller were involved in this show, and it was one of the head writers, and I cannot remember his name, but also
the creator,
the guy,
Reinhold Weege.
Yes.
Reinhold Weege.
And then the co-writer of the theme song was the co-writer of the theme song for Barney Miller as well. So, and I'm listening to it and going, yeah, I get it. Like, I can kind of hear that similar vibe. But it was always a great theme song. What did you guys think about the new version of the theme song?
I was going to ask you how different it was.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought they had to modernize it some to make it somewhat different. You couldn't just can up the old one. And they just took out the sax and put in the guitar, and it was pretty good.
It's just short compared to the original.
Well, see, that's the problem. Like, they only played like 10 seconds of it. Like during the pilot was even shorter. That was like 5 seconds of it and went right in. And then the second one, I'd hope to hear a little bit more of it. That's actually John Larroquette's son, I believe, that did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, he's one of the producers, so that makes sense.
Damn.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked it. Okay. I mean, they did it justice. It's not as cool sounding, like Barney Miller cool or Sanford and Son cool, but yeah, it's modern. It sounded pretty good.
Did they start with the theme song?
No, it's like the old one where they have a cold open,
then
theme song, and then they come back.
How was the cold open?
It was all right. Well, it's which one? I'm trying to think what the second episode cold open was. The first one.
That's right, because they had 2
in
episodes
line
back
to go into the court.
Right.
I think it wasn't it like the maintenance guy or something? The second one.
Shoot, I literally just watched it.
I can't remember. Well, see, that's not a good sign. Well,
I don't know. I thought it was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. I mean, like every show that starts, I mean, it doesn't really start getting funny till later because you don't know any of the characters. I mean, all the new characters. I mean, who are they? What are they like? I don't know.
I mean, you said the same thing about Seinfeld too, right?
Oh, the first season, the first couple of Seinfelds were not very good.
First season wasn't very good. It was just a regular show. Second season was better, but they didn't start hitting their stride until season 3. So it took a while for Seinfeld to get going.
But even Night Court, same thing.
First season.
But even the same thing with Night Court, because John Larroquette, Dan Fielding, he's completely different in the first season than the way you think of him in that classic run.
Yeah,
yes, he was.
Developed into the Lech.
Yeah.
Which that sort of makes you say, like, because that's what he's most known as, even though he wasn't that way, like you said at the beginning. Now he's he looks about 70 in the show. It just doesn't fit. He can't be the same old Dan Fielding, right?
Right.
No, it can't have the slapstick. You can't have bull time in the knots like the classic run.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I love about the first Night Court. It was just like a screwball comedy, just weird stuff. Like, when
they had a little bit of that in this. I liked some of the stuff that was going in episode 2. Some of the stuff in the background, like in the left-hand corner, like it's just something ridiculous going on in the background. Or there was more physical comedy in the second one. That kind of like it's like, okay, I can see, you need to develop this, but here's my problem. And again, I liked it. Okay, I mean, I'm not like I'll definitely watch the third show or whatever. I don't know how much out of my way I'm going to go to, make sure to see it live or anything like that again. But it didn't grab me right away. Like none of the characters, Larroquette, you kind of want to see him again. You're interested in it, but like none of the characters I was like really like super interested in finding anything about. Like there wasn't anything that was like drawing me in. And hopefully that'll develop. But like so many shows I've watched recently, like after the first episode or 2, I'm like sold like right away, and where they're consistent throughout for the most part. But with this, it's like you were saying like 3 seasons. We discussed this, but 3 seasons to mature. They don't have 3 seasons. Like, you know, in order for them to even last the whole season, I mean, it didn't even look like all the shows were finished, right, Lance? I mean, it seemed like it was kind of incomplete.
Yeah, the one listing had 13 episodes, but like, was it 6 or 7? Had air dates and titles.
So
but one thing in California, some of the studios, they can't have full production runs. You know, some of the studios have to be closed, or just stages rather.
Yeah.
Hey, in that first episode of the new one, when Dan comes to visit the night court, he sits down next to a lady and he calls her Sally, I think, or Sarah. No, Sally.
Sandy. Wasn't it Sandy or something like that?
Sally, I think.
Sally. Okay.
Are we supposed to know who that was? Is that someone from the old show? Because I don't remember.
It had to have been.
Same here. Like, I even wanted to look it up. I'm going to try looking.
I tried looking it up. The only Sally I saw was the episode where this family of 4 had nowhere to go. They came to New York for something, and they were basically had nowhere to stay. But I can't imagine that's her. You know, it would be awesome on this new one if they could possibly get Bob and June Wheeler for an episode.
Oh yeah,
because they were the absolute best.
They were hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they were going to be full-time cast members.
They were. They bought the newsstand.
They bought the newsstand, but in the off season, Data got
Brent Spiner.
Next Generation.
Yeah. He said June Wheeler was not too excited about that. She lost the job.
So what do you think? Do you think? I mean, I'm sure we'll probably see some cameos, but is that enough to like boost the show? You think?
No, I mean, it's not going to boost.
It'll help.
It'll help a little bit, but what they need is like the old Night Court, where the guest characters, people they're bringing in, they need to really carry the show in some spots, like the whole Bob and June Wheeler. I mean, when they were there, they were the main part for that 5 minutes or whatever they were.
Yeah.
Whatever it was they were on. I was just watching the second episode of the first show, and the whole show was about this guy who thought he was Santa, and Michael J. Fox was there with his girlfriend, and between the three of them, they took up like half the show. So, and that was not uncommon. I mean, I think the Night Court setup is absolutely perfect for comedy because you got your regulars, but then you can bring in anyone you want, any storyline, and it'll work, just like in Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. Well, I got to thinking about that. When is this show going to air? I mean, is that the permanent time slot? Because I imagine with the original one being, well, out here it was 9:30 after Cheers.
Thursday.
They could get away with a lot more at that time slot than
here it was
8 o'clock.
Here it was 8:30. Yeah, right after Cheers. That was the final sitcom before the whatever the serious show was that followed. They always had like 4 comedies.
Yeah, like Hill Street Blues or something.
Yeah. St. Elsewhere or something like
St.
that.
Elsewhere, yeah.
Yeah, that's so hilarious because here you gotta realize that it was just always this way, right? Your sitcom started at 9 o'clock. You had your 2-hour block. Night Court was at 10:30, and then you had your serious show was always at 11 o'clock, which is late. I mean, really, when you think about what times you guys are talking, right? It's just different perspective growing up.
Yeah, because here, I mean, you ate dinner, and by the time you're done, you're watching, getting ready to watch, Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And all the way through. And then once Night Court's over, you still got like an hour or so before you even think about going to bed. So, it's completely different.
Whereas we have like prime time here was always 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock was your prime time syndication, right? Your syndicated game shows and stuff. Or game shows, sitcoms, and actually, I say game shows. There was a lot of channels that would do the Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy block in there between 7 and 8. Still do. But just a different perspective when you think about how late it was out here for everything compared to what you guys dealt with earlier.
When did MASH run? What time slot was MASH in originally? Because I thought I remember seeing it at like 7:30 or something like that.
That's what I was thinking.
Was it on Mondays, Pete?
Monday. It was a Monday at the end, but I think it jumped around quite a bit, and it was quite late. I thought it was Monday at 10 o'clock my time, so 9 o'clock Eastern is what I thought it was. And then the final show come on at 9:30 my time and went to midnight.
So maybe I'm either misremembering it or I didn't catch it in its original.
Well, I believe it jumped around quite a bit, but I remember at the end, it was like 9 o'clock Eastern on CBS on Monday nights.
Yeah, Lance and I were just talking about this. How, I mean, I assume Harry married Christine because I saw like a still and she's in a wedding dress. So,
Wedding dress, yeah.
but
And
in
you
the
have
new
Mac in it.
show, Abby Stone, was Harry's daughter, but not Christine's daughter because she would have said it if she was.
Right.
But she did not say it.
She did not say it, but you would
She did
think
not say it, yeah.
you'd think when she met Dan, you would say, "I'm Harry and Christine's daughter," since they all worked together, but they did not. But you're right; she didn't. We don't know yet.
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute, Lance! Didn't you say you
But-
read?
Spoilers on Wikipedia, they do say that her mom's name is Gina and will be played by Faith Ford, who was on
there you
Murphy
go.
Brown and various
Interesting.
movies.
Yeah.
Oh,
But we haven't reached that yet.
no.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we'll never see Richard Mole because I heard him and John Larroquette did not get along at the end of this show.
That's sad because that's like the one other character that I'd really like seeing, even if it was just a
Oh, Marsha Warfield,
yeah,
come
yeah.
and have her moment.
She's good too.
We were talking about this before the show too. That there's only one bailiff in this one. I don't know if they're leaving it open for a different actor to come in, or if they're just going with the one bailiff.
True.
I don't know. Yeah, because they're basically one cast member short from the original.
Yeah,
Could
maybe
be
they're
budget
waiting to
too.
see how it goes.
That's what I was saying to Celia last night, Pete. Maybe they're just trying to watch the money
Yeah.
and leave one guy out.
Yeah, really though, it could be.
Oh, one of my favorite Selma moments was I think it was the first season when they all went to Bull's apartment, and he lived. His window was like right up against the train track, and so the whole apartment would just shake every so often. And Selma went in his kitchen to smoke a cigarette. The train came by, and the whole thing was shaking. And she comes stumbling out, and her cigarette is like out of her mouth, and it's like pointed up like this. Like this. And her response was, "If this were a banana, I'd be dead." I always thought that was just a hilarious line because it's so stupid.
Oh my God.
Well, that's the thing with the new show. It's like, I don't know these characters. I don't know if they're going to be good or not. It's just too early.
Again, they weren't doing anything to really promote your interest in that. I mean, I think I'd like to know a little bit more about the daughter. But like the other characters, I don't know. It just didn't seem that like interesting or quirky or anything,
Well, yeah, I think it's part of the writing. I think they probably played it safe, even though some
You mean
of the
like
jokes to me
us?
were kind of forced.
Yeah, like weirdos like
but
us.
I think right now they can't hold the scene. Everything has to revolve around Dan Fielding.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, I think for the show to take off, I think that's going to have to change because,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I really think the guest stars are going to play a big part.
Well, I think they have to. I mean, I
It's
don't
going to succeed anyway.
I don't see much
Hey, Salvador.
chemistry between. I don't see a lot of chemistry between the cast either, like that. And you're right, Lance. You mentioned it's all about writing, and they don't have that much time to fall into place. Like.
Yeah.
There's potential there. Like there's potential, especially with the prosecutor. She wasn't too bad, and she. I like the one line that sort of summed it all up as to where she's going to go is when she said that you can't have a narcissistic, self-centered person. They can't be a public defender because we're all what do you call it? We're all prosecutors.
That was a good line.
And it was a great line because it sort of set her up right there so they know where they're taking her. It's like the clerk didn't get anything from him.
No, it was nothing really. But yeah, I think the prosecuting attorney, just from the first two episodes, looks like she might have the most promise for a interesting character.
The bailiff was good. She did a good job, though.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I liked her better in the second episode.
The crazy stenographer that they were.
Did you notice there was 3 of them?
3 different stenographers. Those 2
I
shows.
didn't realize there were 3.
One was just in the pilot or the first episode, and there was 2 in the second episode. The girl
Crazy
was
one, and then the other guy.
fired right away.
Who was the crazy one? I've seen her before. Like I know I've
I've
seen.
never
her.
seen her. I don't know.
I didn't recognize her.
and she played the same kind of character.
And I'm not even sure if the guy who replaced
It
her
wasn't
is
a
going to stick.
character. What's that?
I said, I'm not even sure if the guy who replaced her at the end is going to stick, or if he's going to be
Right.
replaced. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of open. No, but you
But
guys
it's
see that?
interesting that.
pic-
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead,
I was
Lance.
gonna say the picture of the directory when they changed the
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
Huge
Oh, yeah, that
anus.
was great. Little things like that are good too, right?
I mean, it was funny, but it's like, all right, it's been done on The Simpsons, you know?
Like
Like,
Hugh Jadis was the one that.
yeah. I
The
mean,
other ones, if you read them, were pretty funny. Some of them.
yeah. Did you, I figured you guys would get a kick out of the mural. Are we like ruining this all for you, Stu? Or are you going to be like,
No,
The
fine.
mural was great.
okay, the mural, I figured you guys would like.
The mural, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the mural and the bald guys were the two most night courty type of things to happen. Those both seem like they would have happened on the original show.
That and I'll say the lineup of the people that were charged with public urination.
Yes.
Right.
You
Okay.
had like the two guys, and then the gal, and then the mascot.
Oh, you know what I hope they do in this first season? Remember I don't think it was till maybe like mid-run where they started doing like one episode a year where they had all these cases. It was the end of the year or whatever, and they had to get them all out that night. And so it was just
A
one
marathon.
nest
Yeah.
after another. It was
Speed
hilarious. So I
Speed
hope they do
run,
that in one of these episodes because those are always fun.
Well, what do you guys think about the Easter eggs in it? The armadillo,
Oh, the armadillo. Other than that, I don't really remember anything.
the billiard ball,
The billiard.
Oh,
I-
yeah.
From the episode 3
Because-
one. Yep.
because Harry quit.
Yeah.
This won't ruin it for you, Stu. But
Oh, it's
I-
fine. I'm not worried about it.
I don't know if this was one of the speedrun episodes, but it was a two-parter where Harry essentially had, follow the letter of the law. He had to evict a mom and her son from their apartment. Following by the law, he had to evict them. Well, come to find out later, the son either gets shot or injured trying to rob a place to have
Right.
money to pay for a hotel. Harry gets depressed and he quits. So Dan chases him down at a billiard hall and talks him to coming back.
Wow.
Was there anything other than in that box? I was trying to look in the crowd.
Well, the
like-
snakes would
snakes,
be
I mean,
classic.
yeah.
Would be classic Harry.
Yeah.
And there might be more in there that they'll show next week too.
Sure. They keep it going.
Yeah.
I noticed the newsstand is now a coffee shop.
Yeah, did you catch that? Like, because there wouldn't be a newsstand anymore because there aren't even any newspapers anymore or magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are.
Well, just for old people like you.
Like you still see them in New York City.
No, I know. Just,
But again, it's for old people like us and older.
you're right. But it's just that's the way of the day.
I had a really good comeback, Pete, but I don't do that. No, that's not the point.
Nice, Stu.
No, I had a good comeback, but I don't want to do that. Because it would be very rude. Not to you necessarily. Just
Oh, I didn't even think of this, Salvatore. He goes, I hope there weren't any Mel Torme references, but yeah, I completely forgot about that.
yeah, that's right.
I can see them bringing somebody on like that for her,
Yeah.
like say a 70s singer or something like that.
That there wasn't. I mean, I thought of that when they're in the office. I said that's what's going to come out of one of those boxes,
Yeah.
right? But they really didn't get into it very far with the boxes. There could be a lot more stuff in those boxes, frankly.
A lot more, yeah.
How old is the judge supposed to be?
I
Well, it
didn't say.
doesn't really say, just that it's Harry's daughter.
Harry's daughter, and she's engaged.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
and
would
they'll
say
just skip
30.
over that pretty good too, don't they?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think we'll ever see the person, or if we do, I think it'll be like a breakup thing. I don't think she's getting married because I was telling Lance that that's not a night court thing because they were all pretty much single, weren't they? Except for Mac.
Except for
He
Yes.
got married on the show.
Hey, Fastback and
Yeah.
brother
We're all
Mike.
sitting
Brother
on our
Mike.
butts while he's working out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mike, did you see the new night court episodes? I'm curious.
While you were working out.
Oh, I mentioned it to him on the show last night about Night Court, and you've been proud of NLG last night. They had a good 45 minutes, no topics, and
No
it was about
topic,
movies and TV shows. You guys would have been proud of them.
Paul was on there with them last night.
now we're just infiltrating them with our thoughts without even being there.
Not yet. The show last night. I'll be watching it.
All I know is I got to get me a GoGameGo hoodie because I get chilly down here in the basement.
I actually, you could get a blanket or something, put it around you like a shawl.
Oh, like a GoGameGo shawl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little old lady.
I'm sure somebody in China is getting that together to put it on Amazon any second.
Bootleg Chinese
Bootleg
on Amazon.
GoGameGo shawl.
I check every so often on Amazon just to make sure there's no more shenanigans going on.
Cut the shit.
That was the best.
You need a GoGameGo ski mask.
Oh,
just wear the ski.
So, so the show was last night. What time did it start?
7.
8 o'clock out here.
Well, 7 here. Yeah.
And 2 episodes in a row. And then you can see them on Peacock, or you can watch the next one live next week.
I think they're being rerun on Saturday.
Saturday, right? Yeah.
Oh, they're rerunning them on Saturday on NBC regular?
Yeah, so I actually watched, that was the first time I've watched network TV in I cannot tell you how long. I mean, I think other than the 30 seconds we tuned into the New Year's Eve ball drop, like we didn't even watch the whole, like we couldn't stomach watching one of those whole New Year's things because they're so terrible. But like
they are. I don't get them anymore.
That just up until the ball dropping, and then we turned it off immediately. And so that was the first time we had watched network TV for a really long time. And then this was the first time we actually watched the show. And actually, I turned off all my hockey friends. I posted something about Night Court, and I'm like, hey, the new Night Court is on now, back-to-back episodes. And then people started messaging me. They were like, why aren't you watching the hockey game? Like, I was like, we watched the first period. It was intermission. We watched the show, and then came back for the third period.
I was just checking out.
Pete is begging for a timeout.
Oh, geez.
I like this
shirts you have.
He's like me and my like cap stuff. Like I have like 50 like
what did you
cap shirts.
Did you go to the
Chili's had to put something on?
Did you go to the frickin' store and buy all the cheap Patriots shit? Is that what you did? Is it like when the Rams left and they had shirts and all kinds of Rams paraphernalia for $1?
No, I picked it up there when I was down at the Super Bowl parade a couple years ago.
Or did you hit yourself in the head while you went shopping and accidentally bought Patriot stuff?
I like how he slips in that while I was at the Super Bowl parade.
You know,
well, I'm probably wearing my Battlehawk shirt. How about that? They're coming back.
Nice.
They're coming back.
Who are the Battlehawks?
What league is that? XFL?
XFL.
Yeah, they're starting up. I don't know, next month. I think. I don't know.
Didn't they try to bring back the USFL? Like I didn't follow them very closely, but
they did, didn't they? Wasn't it back last year or the year before?
Yeah, I
think it was last year, wasn't it? I don't know if they're coming back again.
But the XFL, isn't it the Rock? Like he's the owner, or
the Rock and some other people, yeah.
And of course, I'm wearing my Packers shirt, right, with the Patriots because the Packers beat the Patriots.
So we've had
is that silence that I heard there? Is that crickets?
And he got that at the Packers Super Bowl parade.
Actually, I bought it in Wisconsin.
We've had 4.5 Patriot shirts on tonight. What's happening?
4.5 Patriot shirts. So
okay,
I've been watching.
Coming back.
I've been watching this. There's a series on Netflix of films about about music, and one of them and a couple of them are like big historic government driven atrocities. It was like crazy. One of them took place in Ireland where there's a group called the Miami Show Band, and it was when it was the whole Northern Ireland thing, and they were going back and forth with exploding bombs in different places and doing all kinds of terrorism. And this group of soldiers came and planted a bomb on their bus, and while they were still chatting at them at the site, the bus blew up, and it went from there. So it's just kind of crazy. But 3 members of the band were killed, and then there was another one that took place in Mexico, and it was it happened in a stadium. There was a huge government-led atrocity in a stadium after the big coup in was that in early 70s. It's crazy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's called Remastered is what the series is, but it's on Netflix, and it's got some real interesting
Remastered.
Stu.
It's a show that.
Here you go, Stu.
never gets old. Oh man, that's classic. Well then, Pete, did you get their Super Bowl DVD thing?
Yes.
Okay, because I keep finding it at the dollar store. I'm not saying that as a rip. I am just saying I keep finding it there.
Yeah, I've got a few of them, different years.
Okay.
I don't know if I have them all or not, but there's so many of them that it's hard to keep track.
There's a lot of
He
them.
has to build
That's
a new
for
shelf just for all of them.
Yeah, and he goes like this to get.
Yes.
No, they did win a lot. That's for sure. That is for sure. And my Packers bowed out early this year.
I just like XFL's back on the 18th of February.
Nice.
Wow.
Hey, speaking of winning and bowing out, I read something very interesting that I didn't know about. Just back to the night court thing. John Larroquette won 4 Emmys in a row. He was one of the first consecutive Emmys, and he evidently bowed out on the 5th one to give Woody Harrelson, paving the way for Woody Harrelson to get it, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, he asked the Academy or whoever not to
The producers
put him up.
not to submit it.
And so Woody Harrelson could. So I don't know if they were tight or if he was just like, yeah, I'm done, I'm good.
So did Woody Harrelson win?
I think so. That
Kind of won, I guess. He wouldn't have won if
I think so.
Larroquette didn't bow out.
Yeah.
One of the movies or not documentary things I saw, he didn't want to be nominated anymore because he wanted to be a team player, didn't want the attention on him. He wanted the attention to be on the cast.
Which is very unlike his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is ironic and cool. That's great.
Yeah.
So Night Court has several cast members that have died. If you could bring one back, who would you want on this new show?
Wow.
Marky
Harry.
What would he do? He just kind of...
He'd run a newsstand. They
He's
don't
a
have
riser.
magazines.
He'd actually beat Puslin Pool now.
Well, which part of me, you need to say, which part of you wants a certain character back? So in my head, probably Harry.
Hot.
One of these times, Pete's going to forget that he doesn't have
it.
another shirt on underneath.
Oh, my God.
What?
That's hilarious.
Oh, what? You got
I'd love to see Selma back.
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
So it's interesting that nobody said Marky Post. As big, and I know you guys are huge Marky Post fans.
As a character on that show, I mean, she was fine.
Right.
But
But the question was for the show.
Yeah.
for the show, it's Harry all
Because
for
she'd
me.
be replacing Dan Fielding now. That doesn't work.
Harry could come back and be like the Jedi ghost.
Yeah, really.
I saw someone online ask a question: is Night Court a spin-off of Cheers? Which it isn't, but it's pretty darn close because Harry played Harry the Hat on Cheers, and it's basically the same guy, other than he didn't go to law school, as far as we know.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. It was very close.
Was John Larroquette ever on Cheers?
No.
Did he ever guest on there?
No.
I know he's
Marky
on
He
Post
did
Company.
the guy with Kirstie Alley in the movie. What the hell was that again?
What was that?
He did star with Kirstie Alley in a movie. I can't remember what that name of it was now.
Really?
I don't know about that one. Yeah.
I'm trying. I know Marky Post was on Cheers. Was there anyone else? I know there was a lot of actors from. Oh, wait a minute. No, there was a lot of Cheers actors on Taxi. Sam was on there. George Wendt was on there. Carla, of course, she was on Taxi a lot.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Madhouse.
Wow.
That was their movie.
Madhouse.
Kirstie Alley, Madhouse.
Well, I need to check that out.
He was hilarious. Little kid in Blind Date with Bruce Willis and Kim
Yes, he
Basinger.
was. He was very good.
Yeah, I just watched those episodes, Saboteur.
I forgot John Larroquette was on Boston Legal.
Mhm.
That was a good show.
Black Sheep Squadron or Baba Black
Oh
Sheep.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wait, John
Who was in
Larroquette?
that?
Yeah, he was one of the main characters.
He was
Oh,
one of
wow.
the pilots. Yeah.
One of the squadron guys.
Wow, I need to go back and I'm not that familiar with it.
I had forgotten that, but as soon as you said it, I'm like, oh yeah.
Wow.
I feel like
Oh,
I need
really?
to go through and watch some John Larroquette movies.
Wait a minute, he was in Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock?
Larroquette was?
Well, I remember liking his show, the John Larroquette show. You can't really find that anywhere.
That was based in St. Louis.
Yeah, the bus station.
Larroquette played a Klingon, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, Maltz. Maltz, Maltz, a Klingon warrior.
Really? In 3?
One thing I saw, he was the narrator and was it Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
That's what they said.
Really?
And they paid him in weed.
That's-
Oh my gosh.
I never saw that. I could never get myself to see
He
that.
said
I had no idea.
he said he did like the first 3, I think.
First 3, yeah.
Yeah. And it was by a chance meeting. He met the guy who created the movie.
Toby Hooper.
I don't remember who it was. I guess so. But then they met somewhere. I can't remember where they were at. And then they both moved to Los Angeles. And then this guy found him and said, "Hey, I'm making a movie. You want to do the voiceover for it?" And he's like, "Sure."
He was in all of them. It looks like, even the one that came out like this past year.
Once you've done that many, you might as well see it through.
I guess so. And it just
Gotta
Yeah.
keep the originals. Except for Grandpa. He's probably gone by now.
he was on Mork and Mindy. I don't remember that.
Wow.
Fantasy Island. I mean, back then though, like did we really know who he was? I mean,
No.
I was gonna say
No, the only thing about the guest stars in it was a treat when the guest stars on Fantasy Island and Love Boat, when they're on the same night.
anything before 1981, I wouldn't have known because I mean, Stripes. That's when I first learned about him, and
That's right.
loved him ever since. I mean,
was he ever on Love American Style?
Sanford and Son, Kojak,
yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Police Company. I remember him, the cop. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. The cop.
He was in 9 to 5. Oh, there was a TV show 9 to 5. Remington Steele.
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Yeah, I don't recall him in that.
Wow.
Meatballs Part 2.
I don't think I saw Meatballs Part 2. Did anybody see
Summer
Meatballs?
Rental. He was in Summer Rental.
Oh, Summer Rental, yeah.
John Candy.
Did anybody see Meatballs 2? I mean, like anybody.
I think
Not
I
just
did.
in-
I don't even mean us. I mean anybody else.
Not just in the room, but I mean,
Has anyone seen
Across the
Caddyshack
globe.
too?
Oh yeah, I love Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Years ago.
I did see Caddyshack 2.
Jackie Mason.
Very
Yeah.
unmemorable.
I never
Yeah.
watched it.
The original one. And it's funny because I was just talking to a coworker today about Rodney Dangerfield and the golf bag and I got something to tell you. His yacht, I think it's called Seafood or something like that in Caddyshack,
Okay.
is based in Maryland, not too far away from me, like 45 minutes.
Wow.
And you can rent it out for like parties and stuff.
Let's do it.
I mean, how cool would that be?
Find out how much it is and we'll go rent it out. We'll do a GoGameGo.
Hey, this might be a
Papa
good.
Pete
This
crossover.
might be a good time to play. What was it? What was the show we were going to do with JD? With the
I
Kevin
don't
Bacon
have
thing.
that, but that's not a degree of me. That's just something that my
Yeah,
coworker said was like,
Still works.
that's right.
I'm not attached to that. It's just funny that it's.
6 degrees of JD's neighbor.
Yeah.
God. Well, it's actually close to his house, not mine.
JD, do you have any connection to Dean Martin?
I have no idea.
Can you get there in 6 moves?
6 moves. I'll have to look him up.
You probably could.
I'll tell you what the connection would probably be in music. My a friend of the family was a drummer, a jazz drummer, that might very well have crossed paths, like a studio guy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only thing I could think of. And I don't even know Dean Martin.
Yeah, I mean, you could.
I don't know anything about Dean Martin.
You could do a rock and roll 6 degree. I mean, just
unlikely I have any connection though.
But I mean, you know, with JD and myself, with those things, with music, you could 6 degrees to somebody pretty easily.
Yeah. And I mean, as far as like, I mean, what is a degree? I mean, it's like you crossed paths with them. I mean,
well, like I met Zlows.
But we met it. Yeah. But like the people like you meet at NAMM, it's just like, it's kind of like, I hesitate to say peers because I don't consider myself on that level, but
well,
you know, you're not, I mean, you're interacting with them in like a little bit different way, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, you've met them. I mean, everybody that I ever met at NAMM remembers who I am.
Is that a degree, or is there like got to be some insinuation of some sort of like relationship, like actual?
No, usually it's just like a working situation.
Yeah.
You know, like I was working at NAMM and I met up with everybody from Steve Morse to Uli Roth to Craig Goldie,
right.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, I mean the same here. I mean that's where I've met most of these guys. I mean,
yeah,
maybe like we knew somebody like get into a show or something like that, like once in a while. But
yeah, there's no love lost there. Dean had a special, yeah, just like when Bowie sang with Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
I found that on vinyl recently.
Oh, that still weirds me out, like that actually even happened.
The Little Drummer Boy?
No, just the whole thing, like that. I would never imagine that happening in a million years.
Well, that's like,
we're gonna say 2 people that were going to cross paths and do a duet.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Frank Zappa being on the Steve Allen show,
right? Yeah,
and then he played
any conformist kind of thing. He would be on.
Yeah. And he played music on a broken or an old bicycle.
Well, but the thing is, though, like you know, I remember hearing an interview with Dweezil actually talking about his dad, and it was like I think he and Amit, they were at this like I don't know Vegas hotel or something like that, and they were making fun of this like Lounge Lizard piano player, you know, and doing the whole like you know the piano and vocals kind of thing, and they were making fun of him, and Frank Zappa was like quick to scold them. He was like, "Look, this dude's making money in music. He may not be doing what his dream was, you know, to be a rock star or whatever, but he's making music. He's making a living, and he's doing more than you."
Yeah.
You know, but I was surprised to hear that and pop music, like, you know, his respect for pop music, you would have never imagined because he's so anti, you know, counterculture kind of thing.
Right.
But he's like, he just had a respect for people making it in music, but again, unexpected.
Absolutely. That's another thing I just watched recently too, was the Clive Burr, why can't I say his last name? Clive Davis show.
Yeah. Oh, the documentary?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been wanting to see that. That's been on my list for a while.
It's pretty good, but you know, I just have a hard time when they're talking about how much he didn't know about how steeped Whitney was in her habits. When they spend all this time talking about how she was like a daughter to him, which I guess I get it. I mean, maybe he just does. I mean, I know he was doing a million things and putting attention towards other, you know, tons of people, but it did sound really weird. He didn't know anything about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, I was just looking up because I can't remember, one of us asked if the new Night Court is going to be on twice a week or back to back. episodes. It is not. They've got the next 2 episodes listed here. One for next week and one the week after, all in the same. Still on Tuesdays.
I bet anything they did some sort of like review, and they were like, "Yeah, that pilot's not strong enough."
Is there?
Yeah,
because the second show, what I thought the second show was better. I mean,
I read a couple of reviewers who've said that if you stick with it, they kind of hit their stride later on.
You mean people have previewed other episodes? Yeah. I see.
Is there any days of the week that has like a comedy block, like ABC had in the 70s with Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, and whatever else, and then in the 80s with Cosby, Seinfeld.
I don't think people are watching network TV like they used to. I mean, I watch network TV for games.
I can't think of a block, but I mean, there's sometimes there's comedies back to back, and then they'll throw like drama or the latest NCIS or something.
Right? Yeah, doesn't Lopez have a new one, and Dwayne's on the same night or something?
Yeah, but that's the thing. I mean, you see more like police dramas and courtroom drama kind of things.
Yeah,
back to back. Like there'll be like a cop show and then a fireman show.
Oh, Chicago. They're all over that.
Yeah, and I'm sure those are pretty good. But yeah, no, the last show I remember seeing maybe on like network TV, maybe Modern Family or something like that. But but that's been so long.
Oh, I guess for me it would be The Office. I honestly can't think of another network show, like regular network show that I watch.
Well, the programming got bad. I mean,
it's different. It's different than like for me. I watched Ghosts and Blue Bloods.
Yeah,
but I mean they don't go together. But
yeah.
But that comedy
I watched.
Yeah, but that comedy block's gone.
Yeah, the Thursday.
Yeah, that was huge in the 80s, man. That Thursday night lineup. Jeez.
Forward to like we would actually arrange our schedules around and try to be there as a family and watch the Thursday night show.
We had to back then.
It kind of
wanted to watch it.
Like my parents weren't into Friends, so like that was kind of like, all right, yeah, let me know when that's over, kind of thing. But we watched that. But yeah, no, that Thursday night and then Sunday also had a good lineup of things like that 70s show, The Simpsons, King of the Hill, and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
just want to say hi to Kevin. I don't. Has Kevin been in chat before? I can't remember.
I don't
want to say hi.
I don't remember.
Is that a goalie mask?
Yes.
Is he a hockey guy too?
Or Jason Voorhees guy.
There's actually another goalie's mask in the background.
Yeah, I thought I saw some hockey. Like I don't have my glasses on, but I thought I saw some hockey sticks back there or something.
I thought I saw Papa Pete. Here's a little caring for you.
Yeah. Yep.
Coco needs a dolly.
Coco needs a dolly. Did you hear that, Dad? That's what she looks like. She's looking at. Did you hear that? A dolly.
Yeah. Do something about it.
Should kick them out.
Whoa. Hey, I got one for you. He was on Three's Company.
Yeah, that's what he was a cop. Is that what you said earlier?
Oh, did somebody say that already?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
You were already having reruns.
We should do that one week. We should just play an old show.
Or just reenact it.
We should do an old show, just re-upload it, have live chat ready to go, and see if anyone notices.
Hey, what the hell?
A reaction to your old show?
Yeah. We're syndicated now.
Pushing Daisies. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, yeah. Pushing Daisies. I've got it on DVD back there. Yeah. It was a show about a gentleman who had a magical power of bringing things back to life.
Like anything that dies, not just a person?
Yeah. Like they had a pie shop and he would, and their strawberries were going bad and he could rejuvenate them.
That would really come in handy.
Yeah. But somebody had then, if it was a person, he'd be able to bring people back to life for a short moment in order for them to tell them what happened and how they died.
That happened in I think it was the first episode of
The Simpsons.
No, there was a spin-off of Doctor Who.
Oh.
Someone in the chat will know.
I was going to make another joke and say Quincy.
There was yeah, the first episode was a character named Captain Jack, and it all dealt with aliens and stuff, and someone was killed, and they had this alien hand thing. They weren't quite sure how to use it, but they knew they could bring someone else. They knew they could bring someone to life. Torchwood, yes, that's it, Torchwood. And so they brought this guy back to life, but they didn't have much control. He could only be around for like a minute.
Oh.
And so the guy, the guy popped. They were asking him, what happened, and he didn't care because he was dead. And he said, "There was nothing." He goes, "There was nothing." He goes, Don't let me go. Don't send me back." And so eventually they just had to let it go because they didn't have the power to keep him going. I just thought that was just so creepy. There was nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, Torchwood. That was such a great show, though.
Wild.
Those were good times when Doctor Who got rebooted and they had Torchwood at the same time.
Yeah, and I think Eep was saying "dead like me," right? Not deal like me, but dead like me. I think is what I remember. I remember that show. I never saw it, but I remember it. But yeah, there was what was her name? What's her name? She was in Wicked as Glenda on Broadway. What can I say it? She is the teeny tiny little woman. Kristen, what the hell's her last name? I can't think of her last name. But she was in it. She was had a key role in it. And then there was a couple of sisters characters. Well, and the guy that was the main guy in that was in Guardians of the Galaxy as the main baddie that he did the dance off with. That guy was the main guy in
so the guy that played Ronan the Accuser.
Ronan, yeah, it was same actor. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, look at this. What was that? What's this? Elevator Action. What? I love that game.
Really?
I love Elevator Action. Elevator Action and Commando. I love those two games.
Wasn't there an anniversary edition that was on Switch just recently? I thought there was. There was like
Elevator Action?
Yeah, I thought you could get the original one, and I thought you could get
I don't know if it's by itself. I know it's in some kind of compilation.
What was it called?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I'd like to get into that game again.
Or something like that.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
It was Elevator Action. Elevator Action Returns S Tribute. That's what it was called.
That sounds very Japanese.
Yeah, I don't
tribute stuff.
But I mean, it looked all right. I almost bought it. It was on sale at one point. I still want to get the original one.
I got a new shooter yesterday on the Switch. It was coming out today for $15, but I bought it off the Japanese eShop because it was on sale, and with the exchange rate, it ended up being like $9 there. And so I got it there, and it's all in English anyway. So it's kind of cool. Every so often you'll get a deal on the Japanese eShop.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I did buy Terror of Hemosaurus on Switch. It was on sale day one, and I love that game. It is so fun.
Oh, speaking of games and speaking of shows, has anybody seen Last of Us?
No, I heard about it.
Okay.
I've never heard of the game. Like, it's based on a game, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That was
I haven't
really
finished the
popular
game
game.
because the game creeps me out.
I don't gravitate to movies that are based on games generally.
Well, this is like a TV series they're doing.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the premise?
That there's mutated zombie-ish monsters. They have clickers and different weird things. I was playing it and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll fight my way out to a lit area, and you just keep going into dark areas. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to deal with that all day long. Just give me some light, Let me just shoot something in the daylight.
Is that Pedro Pascal that's in that? I think I remember seeing him for The Mandalorian.
Oh, he's in Last of Us, you mean?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's right. Yeah,
I like him. He was in that movie with Nicolas Cage too. That was really good on Netflix. It was like a made for Netflix movie where Pedro Pascal plays this like really rich guy, and it's his birthday, and he's a huge Nicolas Cage fan. Nicolas Cage plays himself, and he designs all these vignettes, these like adventure action vignettes that they're acting in together in like real time.
Wow.
It's like part of the movie, and it's more than that, but like it's a really quirky movie, and it was really fun. And I mean, it turns into like I don't want to spoil it, but it turns into like a real action adventure movie.
Interesting.
Out of something that was kind of done fun. But yeah, no, that was a good movie. He was good in that.
I'll have to check that out.
Mando's good too.
Whoa!
Last week, JWD had the Tijuana Frogs, and this week it's got the Anteater. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Spectre's coming soon.
Look at that. Jeff's gonna have to finish watching it now.
Nice. So Frasier is back as well.
What is that on? Is that Paramount Plus?
Yeah, and in which case
something I don't have, I know.
And if it is, I'm not watching it. Like I'm not gonna pick it up for that.
Right.
I mean, I picked it up for other shows that I want to see too, but
that Pascal was also in Girl on a Train. He was in that too.
Are you guys excited about Frasier, the Frasier reboot? Like, I mean, I saw the trailer. I was like,
I didn't even know it was coming.
Niles isn't going to be on it.
Oh,
that's the one thing I do know.
Is Roz back?
No, none of them.
Really?
And John Mahoney obviously has.
Right.
So it's like at that point, it's like, all right, well. Were you guys into Frasier like when it was on? I know we've had this conversation. I mean, I
not when it was on. I watched it
later. No.
Yeah.
I watched it some, but
I'd catch some episodes.
Yeah.
But not faithful. Like I ended up binging the series a couple times now. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
I really like
it.
I binged it once, and I got through the first 2 episodes.
Are you already on episode 3?
Sure.
I have not started 3 yet.
Well,
I'm still trying to recover from the first 2. I don't want to do too much at once.
Yeah.
Pace yourself.
I mean, I'm not like super excited about this. I might tune in just to see what it's about. I mean, if it's available somewhere other than Paramount, but
Scallywag is not a big fan of Frasier. He said it's okay. Now, Pete, you loved it, right?
I thought when I sat down and actually watched it start to finish, the writing was excellent.
It was. It was very
new one?
No, the old one was the new one.
Frasier,
the original one. It was very good writing.
Yeah, I thought the only thing that bothered me after a while, because when you binge something like that, these personalities are shit.
Yeah.
And, the way they act is shit. And then you're like, shit.
Well,
I get tired of it after a while. You're like, shut up. People may be thinking that right now of me. Shut up. But at the same time, I'm watching it, and it's 11 seasons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So 11 seasons of his yippity yap and stupid moves and
same thing
over and over. You're doing it again. I bumped that up quick, didn't I? Tick that box again.
Half sentence.
Well, here's the thing, though. Seinfeld, they're all miserable people, but like that doesn't seem to get my nerves as much.
And George got on my nerves later on in the series. I'm like, shut up.
But still,
I love George. He was great.
Well, yeah, but I think there's times where they push the character too far. You're like, okay, now you're the worst. You're in like super twat gear. You're just like, shut up.
Well, but that was the character. I mean, he was just
but I mean, I'm just saying he played it over the top some seasons where it was a little too much. You're like, okay, no, that's not who you are. You're just pushing it to be just because you need to be like that to make this episode happen.
I don't know. To me, his character was summed up with the Vandelay Industries episode where he's on the can and he's like, Vandelay, save Vandelay. And he runs out and he like trips.
Yes, he's got his pants down around his ankles.
Like, funniest scene. Like,
and you want to be my latex salesman. That's great.
So
I love how they
so
wrote
still
some of those lines where you
yeah. So still, I was going to ask. So in that case, is that a matter of the writing or the performance, or
the
no more character development?
Yeah, it's the writing. That's because they're like, well, I don't know. Let's just have George do this silly, stupid thing.
Okay.
And then it's not in keeping with the characters. I felt that way about Big Bang Theory as it moved on, and they kept having to try to push that homosexual relationship, between the two guys, and I'm just like,
that is
not
what a sexual relationship is. So.
I'm like, they're not. So just, I don't need to see you pushing this.
I got you. No, the reason why I was asking, because like on like some characters, let's take Good Times, JJ. His character was based around the line Dynamite, or
right.
Was it Different Strokes? What you talking about, Willis? You knew that was going to happen every episode, and they were going to, that was what the character was centered around.
Right.
Whereas, go back to Night Court, every character, I mean, there was one-liners, there was sight gags, there was, even growth in the character and the writing, which made it great.
Right. And there were times when George was manic and goofy and stupid in the show, and that was funny.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it was over the top, and I'm like, whoa, what is this? That's when I just start noticing the actors are the part, whoever wrote that scene is pushing him too far. You're like, come on, he's manic, but he's not this. There's no reason to be this over the top.
Like Big Bang Theory, I watched for the first season or two, and it was fun. But like, I don't know, I just got bored with it. Like, I just didn't really.
Which one?
Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah.
For a while. I mean, it was all right. Like the first couple of seasons, I didn't stop watching it for any like particular reason. I just I was like,
yeah, I watched it all the way through. I really liked Big Bang Theory.
I didn't watch it all the way through, but I own it all, and I have watched it all the way through.
The two signature show things with George, yes. He just mentioned the Salvatore. Just mentioned the George and the Frogger Machine.
Yeah,
that and the Vandelay thing were the two huge.
Oh, also the big one was the marine biologist.
The whale. Oh,
that was great.
Stuck in the blowhole.
Hole in one.
Somebody mentioned, I think it was Scallywag mentioned Brit TV, but one of the things that I was scrolling through the cast members because I'd never heard of most of them. I mean, the actors in Night Court, and the prosecutor's a Brit. Like she had that accent. I mean, that's what actresses do. But like, I would have.
I didn't know that she's British.
Brit. Yep.
Who was that?
The prosecutor, the new prosecutor in the new.
Gotcha. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like 11 from Stranger Things and
right.
House was that way.
No idea that she. Yeah, until I saw her interview. Oh yeah, Hugh Laurie. Like
Hugh Laurie.
I didn't know, and then my friends were like, "Oh, you didn't see? What was it, Red Dwarf?" I guess.
Right.
I was like, "No," and then I finally saw Red Dwarf, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing."
Like
what's the guy's name? Idris Elba. He was Charles Minor on The Office.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't know he was British.
Yeah.
I watched him on the. By the way, his episodes on The Office are some of the most. It's
cringy,
hard to get through because it's so you're just so full of anxiety watching it. But the first time I heard him speaking the British accent, I was like, "What is he doing?" I was like, "That is a terrible accent." I just thought he sounded terrible with it, which is really weird.
And
I
that
thought
was
it
him.
a fake accent. I didn't believe it.
I think that one and the guy who played Rick in Walking Dead.
Oh, that was
Oh
it.
yeah.
That was Idris Elba. Minor.
Huh?
Oh, he's going back to the Office.
Yeah.
Oh,
Minor.
yeah. Yeah, that was. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, when you hear some of those guys, especially if you got those real heavy hick accents or whatever, and then all of a sudden they just talking something else, and you're just like, what the
It was
hell
Rick
is that?
and what was the girl's name that was married to? Can't think of his name. Glenn.
Oh, yeah.
What was
She,
her name?
yes.
Yeah, she has a.
Yeah, she was in the movie The Boy. I liked that movie.
Hey, Luke's Awakening. What's going on? Glad you can make it.
Cool logo.
That is cool. Luke, recent subscriber, he mentioned to me, he goes, I could have swore I subscribed to you guys a long time ago. I do the same thing with people. It's like, because you watch enough of their stuff, it just keeps being, pushed towards us, and you don't even realize you're not subscribed.
Yeah. Hey, has
Hey,
anybody
Roger
watched
Matthews.
any of the?
Hey, Roger.
I mentioned the YouTube channel a while back for pitch meeting. Has anybody watched anything?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, come on! You guys got to check it out. Just tell me what you think. Just pick something, anything. They're only anywhere from 4.5 minutes to 6-7 minutes.
That's a big commitment.
Right now, Stu?
Yeah, do it. Bye.
I'm writing this down. Pitch me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan George pitch meeting is pick whatever you want. Anything from he's got everything from all the way back to like Batman Returns to the new Avatar and a bunch of the Marvel movies and stuff.
Did anyone see?
Oh, you have some new Disney Plus content for me? Yeah.
Yes, sir, I do. I love it.
Did you guys see the Key and Peele? I think we talked about it before. The Key and Peele Gremlins 2 pitch meeting.
No.
Oh, you got to see that. Did you see Gremlins 2?
I think I did, but I wasn't a huge Gremlins fan. But
I love the first one.
well, my kids won't watch it. I bought it, and they were like, "Get it out of here!" And I was like, "Really?" I figured by now you'd be okay with it. And they're like, "No." I used to buy a bunch of movies, whatever I could get cheap on VHS back before I bought DVDs, and a big circus popcorn tin, and I'd wrap them all and for the family, and I'd dump them in there, and then I'd put certain names on so everybody had an equal amount to open up. And I put Gremlins in there one year. My son goes, "What are you doing? I don't want this." I'm like,
Why?
I
figured maybe by now. He goes, "No, I don't like it."
I want to see
Scared
it.
them when they were kids or what?
Something traumatic should sound like something happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
What, the scene where they launched Flo? That was
I'm
too
not even going to
traumatic?
make a joke that I beat them while we watched it or something. I don't even. It's just that's not cool.
Well,
I like the car.
Isn't there a new one coming out?
Is there a new Gremlins?
Really?
I mean, it's about time. I would think.
Hey,
But
Jay-
watch that Gremlins 2 pitch meeting, and like I didn't realize exactly what I was seeing,
Yeah.
but get a little watch the original trailer I would say before you see this, just to refamiliarize yourself with it.
I want to watch. Well, here's a
movie. The movie was terrible, as I recall. But
yeah.
anyway, but the pitch meeting, Key and Peele's pitch meeting for Gremlins 2, got to see it.
Okay. Well, that's like, think of all the other ones that were bad. You already mentioned Caddyshack. Ghostbusters 2 was horrid.
I remember seeing it and not hating it. I mean,
I didn't hate
it was like a summer blockbuster.
It was okay, but what I remember, it came out against Batman, and Batman,
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson just destroyed everything.
But that's my feeling towards everything with sequels. I'm like, I think Back to the Future was one of the few where all three were pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I think
Jurassic Park. I thought the original series was.
I thought
good.
the original three were all good.
Yeah, but few and far between. And
Very few.
The Muppet movies, like Great Muppet Caper, I
The
like.
only
But
problem with Ghostbusters 2 and Last Crusade and Batman, they all come out at the same time as UHF. So how could they compete with that?
Good
Good
point,
point.
Pete.
At the end of 25 years later, 35 years later, 30 years later, 34 years ago.
it's still
And now the cream of the crop is UHF. It has climbed its way to the top of that whole
Well,
pile.
I never saw it in the theater.
Real quick, what is a favorite movie? Okay, how do I put this? What's a favorite movie of yours that is like critically accepted? Something that's
A Clockwork Orange.
okay, good. All right. There you
That's
go.
my favorite movie of all time.
What okay. And pretty much
I'm
we've
so
all seen
close
that.
to you.
right?
Because mine's, it's another Stanley Kubrick film, 2001.
That's right.
2001.
That's right.
Critically
What-
acclaimed film.
What about you, Lance?
I'm trying to think. Critically acclaimed.
Cannonball
Or you know what
Run.
I'm saying? Just something that's not like some goofy shit that we like. You know what I'm saying? Something that it was very popular and it's one of your favorite movies too.
Well, I'd have to. The first thing that comes to mind is Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bolorama.
That's right, because we've all not seen that.
Oh, it's on Tubi.
There's Scallywag,
Make sure you
Life
see it
of
on
Brian.
Tubi.
Yeah,
Life
Life
of
of
Brian is
Brian.
fantastic. Yeah.
I just
Brian's
I made
good.
my way through
I
that.
still like Holy Grail better, but Life of Brian's good.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
You know, they're different. Yes, I do too, but Life of Brian has its own things about it.
It's a
Same as
different
Meaning of
thing.
Life.
Well, you know,
It's different, but
here's something I'll suggest for everybody out there. They had that series that they just did not long ago with where they talked about the series of Monty Python, went through the whole history of making the show, and then all the way through the movies too. They talked about each of the movies had an episode too where they talked about it. And that's a really good show to watch if you really want to kind of get yourself baited to watch the movies as well. And I really want to watch Life of Brian. I'm in the midst of watching Holy Grail again, but it's funny and it's great to hear how that went and how their working relationships were. Like Holy Grail, they co-directed it, right?
Yeah.
The two Terrys were trying to direct it
Jones and
together,
Gillis.
and it really was rough.
Yeah.
But then
Terry Jones was fantastic.
yeah, and they talk about
Rest in
Graham
peace.
Chapman a lot, and
Yeah.
and each of their relationships. That's what else was neat is they had a section where they would talk about each of the players, and then they'd have all the other guys talking about that person. So they gave their reflections on that person, and they had some really good classic interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. So anyway, so Lance, what would be one for you?
Oh, jeez.
I was going to mention Heaven Can Wait. That's one of my all-time favorites.
That's a good.
Here comes
it's a great
Mr.
movie.
Jordan.
Yep.
A lot
That's a
of
good
my
one.
favorite movies are not like necessarily critically acclaimed. I mean, they
Well,
might.
and that's what I mean. It may not be critically acclaimed. I'm just saying it's something of the norm that, lots of people like.
Forrest Gump.
Critically,
Forrest Gump.
yeah. I mean, classic movies, maybe The Graduate.
I'm thinking kind of classic movies. So like Heaven Can Wait was 78, I think.
Well, so the problem I have is you said critically acclaimed, and I started thinking about like the Oscar-winning movies, and I was starting
I don't-
from now going back, and I'm like, nope,
That's what I'm
nope.
Yeah, that's
That's why I don't. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying more of a movie of the norm. Just again, Pete's joke of what he was talking about. That's something else.
Hey, Lemon.
Hey, Lemon, what's
Hey,
going
Lemon.
on? Thanks for stopping by.
So
Yeah,
Fish Called Wanda was
that
good.
was really
yeah.
good.
Oh,
Fish Called Wanda was excellent. Yeah.
Speaking of some great work by Michael Palin, that was Ken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another movie along that line that you never hear of is Nuns on the Run. Robbie Coltrane just passed away, but Eric Idle and Robbie Coltrane.
Yes.
And that was a very good little movie
Yeah.
that you never see anywhere.
Right.
No, you don't.
Yeah. That's like you remember was it Stir Crazy? Is that the one where it starts with they were in there's a scene in the restaurant where the guy from Electric Company,
Morgan Freeman.
No, there was multiple actors from Electric Company. There was Rita Moreno, there was Morgan Freeman, and then the Latino gentleman,
Luis.
Yeah.
Can't think of his name. I know what you mean. Yeah.
And he was a taxi driver, and some guy in the restaurant scammed him on the he stiffed him on the bill for a taxi, and he came in and had him by the balls with a pair of pliers.
Wait, you're talking about Stir Crazy?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember any of those.
I think that was in Stir Crazy. It was.
You're probably right. I just have a poor recollection.
Because they did Pryor and Wilder did Stir Crazy. They did Silver Streak.
Silver Streak. Yep. Great. My favorite of the bunch.
Another You.
Another You.
See no evil, hear no evil.
See no evil, hear no evil.
Yeah, that one too.
Stir Crazy, as hyped up as it is, I never was that big for it. I don't know. It seemed to fade at the end for me.
It had moments.
It had moments, but
between all of them, I would take Silver Streak.
I saw it as
I would too. Absolutely.
I saw it as a double Stir Crazy with a double feature with Stripes with my dad.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. It was a fun night.
One of my favorite ones, and I think there's a moment in my job where I take a little bit of that mentality and apply it, is remember when they hung him upside down and then they let him go and he goes, oh man, my back has never felt so good. It's like, thanks a lot. They're like, yeah, they're all mad. Oh, wait, speaking of mad, you want to hear something weird? And yesterday I left work, right? And there was somebody that was driving with Florida license plates, and they were driving at erratic speeds, right? And then all of a sudden they were acting strangely, like they didn't want me to pass. So they just hung next to another driver and wouldn't let me. They didn't want me to pass. Well, I noticed that these people were passing these guys over here. So I'm like, that's okay. I'll just scoot over here and go around. Well, they didn't like that. And then they as soon as I was gone, then they took off. And then they pull in behind me and they're like blinking lights at me. They're not flashing lights. They had these little LED lights that were like do 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 do. And I'm like, what?
Thanks to
What's going on? And
Stu, I lived in Florida for 10 years. That's just normal.
Okay.
Is it?
Oh, he followed me.
Oh yeah. You're lucky they didn't like.
Well, it was a good test run.
There's a lot of road rage there.
Yeah, well, it was a good test run because next time I'm going to let them follow me and I'm going to drive to the right and go straight to the cop shop. Here you go. Well,
those would be mentioned.
Try some shit.
Time Bandits. Yep.
Time Bandits holds up surprisingly well. Oh, Brazil also great.
And Brazil, yeah.
Time Bandits holds up amazingly well.
Look at that. How many discs is that? A lunchbox?
Yeah. What else?
That's the Criterion collection for Brazil.
Oh wow!
Was it director cut?
Which has got several different versions in it.
That's the version he meant to send me.
2-hour version. It's good.
Yeah, I like Terry Gilliam is my favorite of them because I just like his surreal, like artistic.
Same here.
Player.
Yeah. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus is a difficult thing to watch, but very interesting as well.
Zero Theorem was another one. Did you see that?
No.
Zero Theorem is another one. That's Terry Gilliam. It was, I don't know. It's not his most recent one. His most recent one was Don Quixote.
Oh yeah.
Did he do Fisher King too?
Fisher King. Yeah, I was going to say Fisher King. A movie that there's some movies and they put up here. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is like that too. If I'm flipping through TV, which you just don't seem to do as much as you used to, but when I was flipping through TV channels, I hit One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I hit Forrest Gump. If there was an hour and a half left, I was there for an hour and a half.
You watched it,
yeah.
And so was the other one we just said. What was it we just said? Same thing.
Time Bandits.
Time Bandits.
No, it was the one we were just shoot.
Well, that's a good question. What movies, like if you're scrolling through, nothing comes to mind, and you come across a movie, what would you stop automatic? Like for me, it'd be like Shawshank Redemption.
Fast Times. Yeah. Fast Times. I did it last night,
Fast Times.
even though it was on TV and it sucks on TV.
What good is that?
I still said it was the dugout scene.
Oh yeah,
And it was like that was the worst on TV. Anyway, but yeah, that Ferris Bueller, Back to the Future.
Isn't that when they played Jackson Brown during that part? Somebody's baby, right?
Yeah, they played it. Actually, I think they played it like twice in that movie, like a reprise.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that movie's awful on TV though.
Yeah.
I just found another copy of Brazil.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Nice.
Hold it till Christmas. Yeah, Shawshank is a great movie, and that's one that Christine will watch whenever it comes on. That one and Signs is her other one.
Signs, I like Signs. I haven't been a big fan of Shyamalan stuff, his later stuff. I really enjoyed Signs.
Yeah,
I saw it in the theater.
Yep. Yeah, she will just stop and I go, honey, I could just go get the DVD. You'd be done in, an hour instead of an hour and a half. No,
Here's
it's fine.
Similar to that too is Big Fish.
Oh, Big Fish.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't think I've ever seen that. There you go. I bet Papa Pete has Strange Brew.
Oh, of course.
Good call. Good call.
Got a piece so bad I can taste it.
Oh, look at the puppy. That's an Aussie right there. I got me an Aussie too. It doesn't look like that one though.
North by Northwest is another good movie, like classic.
Yeah.
Known.
I picked up a few movies at the library today. I just drove by after my dental appointment. Yay. But I had to do something harrowing because nobody followed me today. So I stopped in and I picked up the new West Side Story because Christine really liked it. I didn't really like it so much, but what's your Aussie's name? I got to know what your Aussie's name is there, Rod. I picked up the new, that, and I picked up Love Story, the classic Love Story.
Yeah.
And picked up The Way We Were. And I picked up 5 movies for $2. I got The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which is an extra copy, and I got Hang 'em High.
Nice.
It was a 2 DVD set.
Good Van Halen song.
Yes. From their last album.
Right there, Pete.
There's a classic.
Very good friend of mine sent me that.
What is it?
Megaforce.
Nice.
Oh, good.
On Blu-ray.
You have Super Bowl 39.
So do you have a Megaforce on regular
Oh,
DVD?
here we go.
Super Bowl 36.
Okay.
World Series 2004. This one's really going to get me kicked off. This will really get me a time.
Oh boy.
All right.
Well, we
That's
didn't
it,
like
Pete. That's it, Pete.
Wrap it up.
Yes, that's it. Right there. Right freaking there.
What?
707.
What? What is
They
it?
did the soundtrack to Megaforce.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, for anybody out there who's not heard Megaforce by 707, that album, it is one of the most underrated albums of all time, if not just of 82. But if you haven't heard that album and you dig arena rock stuff, then if you haven't heard it, listen to it. It's on Spotify. You can listen to it. And on Spotify, it even has the Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want to go, but it has the extra tracks on there too that you'll hear in the movie, Pete. So do you have a Blu-ray and a DVD version of Megaforce?
No, this is Jeff. Jeff got those for us there a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
At least back then, it was Japanese only. That's why you see Japanese on it.
Wow. Wow. Because that's one of those movies. If somebody had an extra something copy, I would get it.
Megaforce?
Yeah. Yeah, because of 707 mainly.
I thought it was just because of that one scene at the end.
Yeah, when the guy looks like he's watching porn.
Yeah, if you like flying motorcycles, Megaforce is where it's at.
And people acting like they're watching porn while they were doing that. Ooh, yeah. That one dude, man, wow.
Yes, I remember that, Roger. It was Rip Taylor, right? Who didn't he host that?
Rip Taylor, that's a name from the past.
Right.
I remember him from, what was that, Gong Show?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere, Roger, since it originally aired.
And what was the deal of that show?
I can't remember. I think it was. I can't remember. They just have some women competing for the $1.98 pageant.
Oh, okay. So they would do whatever they could for the $1.98.
All I remember is Rip Taylor.
I just remember Rip Taylor.
But yeah, I honestly have never seen it since it aired. Wasn't that a Chuck Barris production?
I'm sure it was. I have a vague memory of seeing the trailer for Megaforce in a small beach town theater. It looked awful because it was awful. It's an awful movie. It's one of those.
It was awfully good.
If you're a kid at the time and you're watching that happen with the effects that you had at the moment, it's gonna hold something for you. But again, 707's a great band. That album, Megaforce, I'm telling you, if there's two things you should just check out tonight, it's check out one of the pitch meetings and check out 707's album Megaforce. It's a great record. It's a great record. Once they had a ballad on either side of the record, which were great ballads, and then everything else was just good rock and roll, like Lover Boy and like all these other, but nobody ever heard of it. Not enough people ever heard of it. And then there was a crap movie made with the soundtrack. It's a crap movie. It's fun, but it's crap.
I just looked up that $1.98 beauty show.
Yeah.
Two seasons from 1978 to 1980 and 79 episodes.
Wow. 79. I would have guessed seasons. 20 or so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. IMDb.
They probably shot them all in a week. No, I'm serious. I need 79 shows in a week.
And they received rotten veggie bouquets. Yeah, it does sound familiar.
Oh, rotten veggie bouquets.
Ann Lockhart, Jamie Farr, Rosie Greer, Chuck Woolery.
All the classics.
J.P. Morgan.
I do. Salvatore, I concur. I enjoyed. I own it. I own that Battlestar Galactica. I'd like to have the classic Battlestar Galactica. Anybody got an extra copy of that? The original Battlestar Galactica? Okay. If you bump into a super stupid deal on that, let me know.
Well, I think there's different versions of the movie, the original movie, because I think there's chopped up versions.
Yeah.
That are around.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I'm talking about the old TV show. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But like I say, I'm having a tough time making it through Buck Rogers. I mean, I'm
season 2.
Yeah, it's season 1. Jeez. I mean, it's like Erin Gray goes only so far because she's not in the show all the time. If she was just on the screen all the time, that would make it easier. But because she's just so pretty. She's so pretty. And then what? I mentioned who's the other gal that was in there that plays like the evil. What's the actress's name? Pete.
Oh,
she's
Hensley.
in Buck.
What the heck was her? That's her last name.
Buck Rogers.
Yeah.
The one they just saw the picture of him. You had a picture of it in the chat the other day.
Yeah.
The princess, whatever. I don't know her real name.
Oh, okay. Because I was just telling somebody about her, and they go, "Oh," blah, 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 and they just rattled her name off. I'm like, "Whoa, what did you just do?"
Pete's audio sounded like it was on fast forward. I didn't.
I know Pete's like got a little
cool.
lag there.
That was interesting.
Pamela Hensley.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Pamela Hensley.
Princess Ardala.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Jane Badler from the V. Yeah.
V, the TV show.
Yeah,
Yeah, I believe it. Battlestar Galactica for sure.
with Mark Singer, the Beastmaster.
Yeah.
I just watched that movie a while back. Woof.
Pass.
Here's
only-
another movie.
Only hope someday we can get him back. on the
Hey,
show.
there you go.
Oh, that reminds me. I got to get to the post office. Ah.
Well, there's a story on Richard Mall. He had just finished a B movie, a sci-fi movie, and he had to shave his head for the role.
Oh.
So he came in, did his audition, and they loved it so much, and they said, "You've got the part, but you have to keep shaving your hair."
Oh shoot.
So the line goes, "Oh, for this job, I'll shave my ass if you want me to."
He's got kind of like a George Lucas look when he's got hair.
Yeah, he's got great
Would
hair.
you recognize him?
No.
No.
No, I would not recognize him at all.
He just
mean,
turned 80 last week.
He looked
Wow.
like
Oh my God.
somebody.
Wow.
He looks like somebody famous, but I wouldn't like. No, I
I don't
wouldn't.
know. He looks like a high school principal in that shot there.
Let's watch Bull
What'd
age.
He looked like he was going, "What you talking about, Lance?"
Well, so I guess next Wednesday we can talk about episode 3. See if it.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see how it goes.
I'll have to keep my eye out for it on Saturday so I can watch the first 2.
Well, I
And
guess we
do-
found out why Bull
My
isn't on.
homework.
He's 80.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just hates the idea of.
Isn't that enough?
Well, if he said he didn't get along with John Larroquette, then
Yeah,
that
you're
explains
saying
it.
that.
Because John is a producer.
Yeah,
But I think when we discussed the show earlier, I think the show has potential. We just have to see where they can go with the characters.
they just gotta get there fast.
More sight gags rather, and see what happens.
Stuart, I think this is the guy that you were talking about. Oh, you can't see behind the thing there. He's right. Where is he? Right there.
Where?
Uh,
Which guy?
Right there. Oh, my cursor right there.
Oh,
The hat. Okay.
Yes, that's
Yeah, with
him.
the yellow hat. That's him.
Yeah, he was also in a great comedy film called oh, come on. It was the one. See if you guys can tell me what it is. It had Suzanne Plachette, Dom DeLuise, and that guy. And they had a pawn shop to catch crooks.
Going nuts.
Is that what it's called?
I know the one you mean. I don't know why that's coming to mind, but
sounds
It's
I think that guy in the yellow hat was on an episode of The Jeffersons.
he
it's
was.
possible.
Yes,
He
you're
was
right.
boxing George, and Louise paid him to not hit George, and
That
George
sounds familiar.
George
Yeah.
decided not to hit him for some other reason I can't remember. So they spent the entire match
Dance.
just dancing around, never throwing a punch. And by the way, Lance told us earlier that Jefferson's debuted today in 75
75. Yeah.
and $6 million Man in 74 on this day.
Yep.
Wow.
That's quite a day for a TV show, huh?
And lost Curly from the Three Stooges.
Hot Stuff was the name
on
of
this
that
day
movie.
in 52.
Wow.
So he
Poor Curly.
died at 48 years old.
That's too bad.
I think most people said that's their favorite of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so by far. Yeah, he died at 48, and he was in bad shape with strokes for several years before that. So that's a short life.
That's short. Yeah.
The Dos Equis guy. Oh, bull with hair. Is the Dos Equis?
The movie was Hot Stuff.
Roger
Hot Stuff.
Collins.
Dark Shadows.
Interesting. I do know who that is because I've watched some of that recently, and I picked up a best of DVD of Dark Shadows. Lance, speaking of best of DVDs,
Okay.
at Menards recently. I was in a hardware store and I'm walking through, and here's a Dark Shadows, and I always look for things like that. Like I found that cheap copy of the first season of $6 Million Man. So when you posted that today, that's why I was like, oh, hey, I think I have the first season of that. A-Team, I got the first season of that.
18.
It's kind of like get it while it's hot, you know?
How does
Sure.
the team hold up? Have you seen any of them? Like I actually was going to revisit that. I missed that show.
Well,
The $6 Million Man.
no, he's talking about A-Team. A-Team reminds me of like that old G.I. Joe cartoon where
Yeah.
guys are shooting a lot, nobody gets hit.
Nobody gets it.
There's going to be a couple explosions, a car is going to flip. But now you mentioned Dark Shadows. I barely remember the show. Now I like the movie with Johnny Depp and
Never saw it. Yeah.
Had Jackie Earl Haley.
Yeah. Right.
From Bad News Bears.
Yes. And Rorschach from he was Rorschach in Watchmen. There's
and Alice Cooper had like a big cameo in it.
If you like Dark Shadows, you got to see what we do in the shadows. This show it is so good.
Yeah, I do need to watch some of that. I need to watch now. Should I watch the movie and then watch the show?
No, just bail on the movie. I heard the movie wasn't even that good.
Oh, really? Okay.
The show was fantastic though. Yeah, the movie got panned, and I don't know why, but the show, the writing is just really good. I know you don't really like Taika Waititi, but like it's him and Jermaine, what's his name from Flight of the Conchords.
Well, it's not that I don't like him. It's just I don't like what he did to Thor. It's just, again, there's a lot of people out there that do some great smashing work on other things.
Yeah.
It's just I don't agree with what they do on certain other things. I don't, especially if it's something I have no recollection of or no, I'm not tied to it in any way. Well, then they, I could see some of the stuff that Taito could do on other things, and this
is very unique. It's very novel.
I'm just like, just don't make Thor a dumbass like he did.
But how funny is Vampire Roommates in Staten Island? I mean, that alone, and it's got definitely a lot of the flair from The Office. It's got some of the people from The Office, like. I think the videographer, cinematographer, or whatever is from The Office. So like the style is very much the same. And one of the guys from The Office is on it. But
okay, cool.
That talk about an ensemble cast that works well together, man. And the writing on that show really, from show one, it was pretty much right in there. Like it might take you a couple episodes to like really get into it. It just gets, and they have some like great cameos. Really fun cameos.
Yeah, and as far as like other sitcoms are concerned, have you seen the IT Crowd?
Oh, I love that. Yeah, we binged that. That was amazing, and I was so sad when that was over.
Yeah, that was a great show. And then that guy ended up with the black gentleman ended up with Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller and one other actor doing the Watch. The Watch.
Really? I didn't know he was one of the voices on one of the droids in Mandalorian, I think. Richard or Boyo or Arroyo or something like that.
Yeah. So check out the Watch. It's an interesting movie. I bought it for like 50 cents at the library.
Our new favorite show, it's in my top shows, maybe of all time. Resident Alien. And Jeff, you had seen some of it, right?
No.
I've seen the beginning.
No, I've seen the commercials for him a lot, and it looks pretty good.
Oh, it is so good. Like it's worth getting Peacock for $4 and dropping. Like
I was talking about the TBS show, the Alien show.
Oh yeah, we saw that too. The one we were pissed off about that got canceled.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. There's some similarities and actually there's one of the characters is a crossover into Resident Alien that was on that show.
All right. I think our time is up.
Yep. I'm going to go up and speaking of television, I'm going to go up and watch Jack Ryan.
Our time was up 15 minutes ago.
By the way, JDW wants us to do a live commentary track for Rise of Skywalker. That'd be kind of fun.
That's completely the plan, JW.
That's the plan if I ever get down to St. Louis, or I should say when I get down to St. Louis.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't say if. Don't say it. We'll have you. We'll just have you. What's the word? Deported out of Canada down here.
It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. See. You know what I just wrote? I just wrote a new Marvel movie right there.
There you go.
And a new Star Wars movie at the same time. It doesn't work like that. That's so stupid. Yeah, but I had fun watching it. That's what it's about.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Pete,
Thanks,
JD,
guys.
Man, thanks for joining us.
All right. Thank you.
Pete, give us a live out.
Listen, can I tell you one thing real quick? If you're guaranteed, if you want to lose subs, put up a video about a snake. You're guaranteed to lose subs.
I like that video.
And I lost 3 subs.
I hate snakes.
How to lose subs with snakes.
That's awesome.
Maybe they were big mice fans, Pete.
It must have been. I
Saw
don't
what
know.
happened there.
You should have had Pee Wee Herman on as your guest.
Go game.
Go.
On that note.